let me tell you guys about burnout. This video is called, obviously, Burnout Are Real. Burnouts are real. And this is a channel that I have decided I'm going to tagline practical advice from the perspective of spirituality. I am on the self-improvement journey, but I am going to start incorporating a bit of my spirituality in every episode, every video, because I feel like that's the value I can give to everybody, but spirituality is best taken bit by bit, not all at once. So without further ado, let's begin. So my first bullet point for this outline I've made is I've experienced burnout quickly. I've experienced burnout recently because I've dove into self-improvement too quickly. You can like self-improvement. Let's say I heard about the concept right now today and I was like, oh man, this is what my life is missing. I exercise a bit, or try something out in self-improvement, and I say, man, this is all I want. This is all I want to do. Well, there's a couple problems with diving into it too quickly. Eventually, the goal is you want to do self-improvement, obviously, long-term, but you don't want to start doing it like 7 days a week, for instance, because you will burn out. Number one, you will basically go what's called monk mode, which is what expert level players do. But you will shut everything out. So you'll have no social interaction, which is bad for you. Most people need it. In fact, everybody needs it. A lot of people want or desire a lot of it. Number two, people on the other end are going to think you're just an asshole because you're not talking. You're not even exchanging pleasantries when they walk by. Number two, you won't do anything besides that. So you'll come home and you'll cook healthy. I cook healthy foods, but I'm not in monk mode. I'm just saying, if you were to do this on the extreme level, you would probably come home and your day would involve just working out, cooking, working out more, maybe watching Hamza's videos, I don't know, maybe watch some other self-improvement videos, but that's it. Journaling, reading, like everything to get better, which, it actually sounds great in a way, but if you do it 24/7, it just ruins your life, because it ends up being, and the third principle is, it's all you think about. So when it ends up being all you think about, you don't really want to have time for other things. You keep the momentum going in that monk mode or that self-improvement mode, and it ends up ruining your life because it's just all about it at that point, and not many people are going to resonate with that. So some people will, and that's specifically why I've joined Hamza's cult for brothers that do support the self-improvement, because not a lot of people here near me do. But I just noticed a lot of people don't. Like I for instance can't go to work, and I have a 9 to 5, which I love, by the way. I can't go to work and just tell people about my self-improvement. I can't do that. There's people that resonate with it, people that understand. There's a buff exercise guy. He's a trainer. I mean, he understands the physical. I talked to my other friend about the spiritual side. He's trying to start working out. But anyways, he's on self-improvement too. So, I mean, there's people that understand, but you can't just own in on this and not talk to people about other things, or even have other things on your mind. It's not even healthy for you to not think about other things. So you kind of have to balance it. And so this is at the end of my page, and I'll probably go over it again once I get down here. But the best thing I would say to do is balance that self-improvement stage with. So I've experimented a lot. That's kind of my thing, is experimenting with the theory and seeing what works for my life. So I put down balance and laughter, because actually I would go to Netflix and watch comedians. I did that for about 2 weeks. So my principle is try it for 2 weeks, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't work. Well, I watched comedians for 2 weeks, and I mean, I laughed. It worked. I stopped thinking about what I was thinking about. I didn't stress out. That was a little before exercise made me relieve stress, so I wasn't as stressed. So things were on my mind, and laughter would help. So maybe balance it with laughter, something of that nature. Do those little 2 week experiments and try something fun, something you enjoy, or just incorporate that in your schedule, in your daily self improvement schedule. Incorporate fun. That would make you not burn out, because again, burnout's real. I've experienced it. That's why I'm making this whole video. I've had it before. So the next bullet point is, well, it's kind of the same bullet points, just go more in detail. I feel like I have been on self-improvement before I've actually implemented it. So I was watching a lot of YouTube content, and you can probably relate this to whatever sources you are absorbing a lot. But what I'd written down was too many sources or people can confuse or put you in a state of limbo. You're almost like, where to start? And what I mean by that is you just have not just your mom and dad, but your mom, dad, grandma, aunts, and your friends telling you what you should do. I mean, sometimes your friends are beneficial, sometimes they're not, but regardless, I know from experience it's always beneficial to have a maximum of 3 sources. 3 people speaking to you at once. So you can have stuff to choose from, but you're not overwhelmed. I kind of get what is referred to on the if you go to TikTok, you know what this means. If you're in the spiritual community, you definitely have heard of this. It's called executive paralysis. Let's say you did have like 8 people speaking into your mind at once, telling you about decisions, or YouTube content creators. You have 8 sources or more. You're like, oh, what should I do? I agree with all these ideals, but I don't know which one to implement. Now, you can, if you have the discipline, which I never have. I might not at this point either, but I'm off this. You might be able to do the 2-week experiment and see which implementation will work practically for you. But most of the time when there's 8 or more solutions, people get executive paralysis. They sit there and they're like, I kind of want to do this one, but if I did this one, then I could go this way. But then there's that other one, I could go this way, and I know that would take me down this path, and I would cut back this way. And if it doesn't make sense to you, what I'm saying is that all 8 sources have a good idea that would get you to the objective you want to get to. So either experiment or just cut your sources down. And I would cut my sources down. If I could go back, I would cut my sources down to about 3. That tends to be what people that have had mentors tell me, and they're older than me, of course. They say, my mentors have told me 3 sources. And there's this thing called the law of 33% I learned a long time ago. That kind of involves the law of 3s for most decisions. I can talk about that later, but you can look it up. There is definitely videos on law of 33%. I learned it from Ty Lopez, as a matter of fact. Some people trust him, some people don't, but there's others out there as well who explain it. So anyways, the next one is me actually talking about my experience. So I want to go over how I work, my 9 to 5. I used to go to a gym. I have a home gym now. I'm not going to turn my camera around. But I have what's it called? the rope that the tube extension you pull, the resistance band. I have a foam mat. My couch right here that I'm sitting on, I do sit-ups, like put my feet under it, do sit-ups. I do have dumbbells that I do different presses on, or benches, whatever you want to call it. I exercise at home, so we'll get into that. And the social aspect, believe it or not, like talking to people, I've got burnout. I think that might happen to a lot more people. Once I explain this concept, you'll say, oh yeah, that might have happened to me. So anyways, during work, I am a fairly honest person. You might be able to tell all these YouTube videos are unedited and I'm vulnerable. I don't give a shitzel. I'm a honest person. I don't mind sharing anything with anybody. I'm all about getting better, honestly, at this point. But I also want to improve other people, and so I'm putting value into the channel, but I'm honest. That's what I'm getting at. So at the end of the day, work is something I like, and I never really had the opportunity to work every weekend like I do at this job. This job is cool. Like, I like this job, so I had the ability, and I worked every weekend, like all last year. And the beginning of this year, I started experiencing burnout. And, yes, it was because I worked weekends, y'all. Congratulations, Captain Obvious. But, the thing is, when you work on weekends, number one, you don't feel like you don't really catch up on sleep, but you always feel like you catch up on sleep. So you never get to catch up on sleep because you work every day. You end up literally not knowing the date or caring anymore. You feel like this is like your home, which should not be the case. I felt like it was my home. And I mean, in some ways I still do, but I just couldn't do weekends. And it was all I thought about. Like, I literally dreamed about working. I worked so much. So I had to take a step back from working weekends, and what happens is you get a lot more productive when you're there during the week. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm over here burping and stuff. Second of all, the gym. I have a gym right across the street from my house, and I used to go consistently. So, kind of like the concept at the very top where I said I did self-improvement too quickly. Well, I went to the gym. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Did that kind of too quickly. I dove in it 6 days a week. I didn't really want to go on Sunday because I wanted that day for family. But it was still too much. So, in addition to just doing it too fast, I also went too heavy in it, just like I went too heavy in self-improvement. I ended up doing weights that would push me, but I wasn't ready. First of all, because I was new, and it's like sports, honestly. Most things are. If you have the right form, it works better. So I didn't have the right form, so it didn't work well. And so these weights that I was lifting were actually too heavy for me, and my muscles, couldn't take it. I got tennis elbow. If y'all don't know, it feels like your arms hyperextended all the time, so I don't know, you feel like a noodle arm. You don't want to move it, but at the same time it's tight because there's tension all the time. So I had that. I had to have a surgery because my muscle tissue tore from lifting something that consistently that was too heavy. Not just once or twice, but consistently that was too heavy. And I ignored the signs because I had never gone to the gym, and I was like, oh, I appreciate this. I'm so excited for the gym. I thought it was natural, like something someone would feel. So on one hand, I'm just going to point out, looking back, I should have got a gym partner. and that's something y'all should always do. But I should have never done that to myself, which is what I'm getting at. So I got burnout, and that is why I have a home exercise equipment. I would say an exercise at home. Let's see. It is great, but for me, that's my backstory. Actually, what I would recommend, looking back as well, is if you guys are on self improvement, which we call SI, or you're brand new to SI, it doesn't matter. I would start exercising at home, building little healthy habits. Like, for example, I started with 10-pound weights, which were not heavy to me at 27 years old. I was 26, so this was last year. So I started with 10-pound weights and just did like 30 reps or whatever. You make up a number, but it wasn't hard, and I think that helped solidify the habit. I got a little confident and a little more confident. It's almost like baby steps. And then I was confident I could crawl, and then confident I could walk. And so now I have more home gym equipment that I use, and I don't even feel the need to go to the gym. I still have the membership. I don't know if I'm gonna close it or not, but so that's not advisable to keep that membership. But I do. I would just start with the home gym and see where you end up. A lot of people transfer to calisthenics, which are similar. It's actually working out with no equipment, so it's basically going outside. But anyways, I burn out from the gym, so just keep in mind you can work out too much, too consistently too. So go online, find a good routine, more so than someone else's opinion. Everyone's different, so you need to find what really fits you. So actually I wrote down here, exercise leads to habits that lead to health. So I just wrote that because I feel like that's what really helped me. I started exercising, and that led to good habits, and that led to good health, like the dumbbells, the 10 pounds I was telling you about. So the third thing is socially, I got overwhelmed because I'm introverted. And believe it or not, I think most people are. I had a freaking-tastic social worker / life coach / psychologist / counselor, and we would talk all the time, even off duty. I was her favorite, apparently. She says she retired completely because someone in her family is very sick, and she was taking care of them. So anyways, I've been journaling a lot more than I used to, kind of because of that, but main point anyways, I'm socially introverted, and so I think most people are. She believed that too. Said we always need to kind of recharge our batteries. So don't feel bad about telling your family or your friends, no, like, I need this time for myself. Like, most of the time people will understand, honestly, because if they're not that way, they know people or have had friends who are, and they just they respect it. That they should anyways. If you're firm with saying no, this is who I am. Like, if you know yourself and tell them, they'll understand, or they should if they're a good person. That's also a good indicator, like last video, to see if someone's a true friend or not. Let's see. If they aren't your real friends, you'll notice as well, because you'll be like, am I just, why do I hang out with them? Or am I convincing myself they're real because they're the only people I hang out with? Well, maybe yes, maybe no, but you need to take care of yourself before them anyways, and friends should always understand that. Moving on, let's see. I did have a fourth point. So, I'm not sure, this is like my second take because something happened in my first one. But, at the beginning of the video, I was going to say, my new motto, I'm kind of forming this channel structurally still because I'm new to YouTube. It's like 6 videos, maybe 6 views. Which I don't mind if it always stays 6 views. It's more about my perspective and wanting to get that value out to the individuals who do watch it. But my new motto will be practical advice from the perspective of spirituality. So that will be my new motto because that's the value I'm attempting to give to people. And let's see, my channel will address the ideas through the lens of spirituality. I'm sorry, it's kind of late, y'all. I've been doing lawn care and stuff outside all day, so. One of the last things I want to say is I'm a spiritual person, and if I dive bit by bit, I think that pill will be easier to swallow than me just going all spiritual on you guys. And also, spiritual is like, it's not a religion, it's like the base before a religion. But it's more down to earth, which is why I like it personally. I don't want to unload all that content on y'all though in my head, but I am pretty spiritual. So I wanted to say, since burnout is real, there are signs, and so that was the last part. So signs, I can sense my body telling me we can't do it much longer. It's kind of similar to being in the gym and lifting weights and saying I can do like 5 more, or I can do 10 more, but like after you're done with that, you're like, yeah, I was right, I can't do much more. You know, like you kind of know how much you can do at a certain point, and it's kind of a gut feeling like that tells me I'm not doing something right, or I can't do it anymore. Guys, I'm not sure why there's a shadow right here. Why it's so dark. I'm gonna have to change the lighting. So for me, just a example, a lot of people won't agree with this, but I got in my first car crash when I was like 20. It was a stop sign, and I saw that as, now, I wasn't burnt out. I saw that as a sign that I should take driving a little bit more seriously. Like, I should watch myself. Like, I guess in a way I was burnt out because I was used to driving for 2 years and I wasn't really paying attention. So anyways, what happened was there was a guy here, and he stopped. We were just in stop-go traffic, and I was going, and I, hit the brake too late, and I was gonna hit him, but I saw that, so I veered off, and I hit a stop sign. Thankfully, I didn't hit anybody. Would never do that if I can help it. But I hit a sign, and so it was literally a physical sign, and a lot of people click off at this point, because, oh, you saw a literal sign, But, things of that nature, that's just an example, but you will begin to notice signs before you burn out. Like when you realize something's not good, or maybe you're going down a wrong path, there will be a stop sign that, metaphorical, of course, but spiritually, you'll see it. Once you see through the lens of spirituality, you begin to pick up on things. And so, again, I'm not going to unpack spirituality. I'm going to leave this in an easy-to-swallow pill. But I think that stop sign example will kind of familiarize you with, hey, maybe I'm a little burnt out. This is a sign. Or when I was working on a weekend, and then come Monday, I was tired. Then I was working and I didn't want to work. I didn't feel like it. That's my sign. I was at the gym and I lift too heavy and I felt that muscle tissue, like I did tell y'all. I felt that muscle tissue strain. That's my sign. Well, of course, the second, third time. The first time, I had no idea. And then being social, you realize your burnout, and that's where the signs come from. When you realize you're getting to that point, I said, like me, my body tells me. I mean, I'm spiritual. I get into it, but anyone can see the signs. Like if you begin to notice signs, it will help you tremendously. So, anyways, I'm gonna move off that topic. I wanted to mention Hamza just because I'm in his cult. I wanted to mention he made a video on Burnout. I don't quite remember what it was about, but I know he didn't talk about how even he can be burnout. Because my first few months doing self-improvement, I was like, oh my gosh, this dude knows what he's talking about. So I solely watched him, and only I would see other interesting videos or even the same concept, and naturally want to compare ideas between the two, get those three sources I talked about. But no, I just did him because I thought I needed the motivation for self-improvement. Regardless the reason, I was on self-improvement too quickly again. And even though it was Hamza and we've grown to like him or whatever, follow his cult, I was still experiencing burnout. So that just goes again to say that, and that was a sign. If you pick it up quickly, you're good. You're getting better at picking up signs. Well, that just goes again to tell you that even good, healthy habits can burn you out. You just have to balance everything, man. So that's the end of my video. Pretty long one, guys.